Hello and welcome back to Golf Life Live. You know, I am joined by a legend in putting design, Mr. Guerin Rife.
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
Good to see you.
Wonderful to finally meet you with your new company here. I can't go anywhere without hearing someone tell me you have to go see the Evnroll putter.
Evnroll.
Evnroll. There you go. Okay, you say even, I say
Okay,
Evnroll.
right.
There you go. Evnroll. It's a very interesting product, but I'm not that familiar with it. So why don't you enlighten me with your technology?
Okay, well the best way to do that is to look at this big graphic we got right here. If I can?
Yeah,
okay.
please.
All right, so we have a series of grooves on the face of putters. Now I invented grooves 20 years ago.
Yes, I remember.
On the Rife putters, right? And grooves create less contact surface because here's a big groove, here's a little contact surface, another groove. So this is not touching the ball. Only this is touching the ball. So what happens is that this imparts less energy. So tour players, when I was first introduced them to the groove putters, the ball wouldn't go as far as their Scotty Cameron or their Odyssey putter or whatever.
Right.
And so whenever that happened, I started to realize, okay, there's less contact surface, and I knew that that's okay. So grooves don't hit it as far as a smooth milled surface like this. This would be like a typical putter, right?
Sure, of course.
So what I figured out is that since this doesn't hit it as far, but off-center hits, like when you hit the ball out here, the further out the middle you hit the ball, the less energy, the less in front of the sweet spot. It's a mishit, so it doesn't go as far, and it goes away from the center. Okay. So to give you some numbers, a 25-foot putt on hitting the center would go 23 and a half feet if it was hit out here a half inch off center.
Okay.
And it would go about 8 inches to 6 inches away from the center. To either side, right? Okay. This one would go that way, this one would go this way.
Right.
So what I did is I added some contact surface, more contact surface as you get away from the middle. So as you get out here in the mishit area, you're getting more contact surface on the ball. So all of these putters have this technology where you can see it if you look at it, and this area hits it harder where it's weaker. This hits it stronger where it's not, where it's softer, right?
Interesting.
Where it's stronger.
And then this is harder again.
Right, harder again. So everything goes the same distance.
I see.
And I got a little confession to make on TV here. When I first did this design, I made these grooves pretty wide because I wanted to really test this idea. I thought, well, what happened is the outside balls went further, the inside balls didn't go as far.
Interesting.
But they also crossed over. These were coming this way, these were going that way.
I'll be darned.
Well, I didn't know what that was a discovery. I didn't know that was going to happen. And so I realized that this V shape, okay, it's a parabolic, it's wider here and it tapers, but then it was a lot wider and tapered, and that was gearing the ball back to the middle.
Oh.
But it was gearing it too much. So if too much works, back it off till it's just the right amount.
On the line.
So that eight inches to 6 inches of dispersion away from the middle,
Yes, sir.
I was able to dial these in to the point where that 8 inches turns into straight.
I'll be darned.
So the center putt goes straight, the off center hits go straight, these go straight, and they all go the same distance, so you can pick them up with one hand.
So you learned from your original groove design and have vastly improved that. So
Sure.
your claim is essentially that the initial grooves were sufficient. They worked, but on off-center hits not as well as maybe this obviously.
Any putter on off-center hits doesn't hit the ball as far.
Okay.
But this was a way to compensate for that. It's sort of like MOI through technology. But anyway, this idea is something we're calling Evnroll.
Okay.
We call it the sweetest face in golf.
Right.
And because we're enlarging the sweet spot.
So essentially now that you can design, and you have, any type of putter for any type of individual.
Right. So because
you're not limited by MOI or some other.
Right. So
concept.
we have a standard answer style blade design.
Answer, yeah. There you go.
And you can see this. Standard. You've seen this by the Ping, by Ping Golf. Years ago they did the answer, but they had a hosel.
Okay.
So, and on all of these I've eliminated the hosel.
Why is that?
Well, a hosel weighs about 45 grams.
Okay.
And it's up above the putter, so anything from here down you have to add to the heel.
Interesting.
So the sweet spot would move over here.
Because of that weight.
And up a little bit, because this is part of the putter's total weight. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of shaft. So now you have to add this bent part here to this part. That weighs 5 grams. The hole that I bored out to stick it in weighs 5 grams. So the sweet spot is just dead in the center. It's important to have the sweet spot in the middle where the sight line is. That's why it's there. That's why the sight line is. So all of them have that feature. You have the answer style blade.
So you won't see, by that nature, then you wouldn't see a center shafted putter. Is that correct? You always see an offshoot.
Oh no, you can no. So you can do center shafting. Okay. It's about the head's weight.
So head's weight.
And it's about the weight from one's half to the other half. So here's more of a square back design with a little deeper sight line.
I see.
And then we have this, and this is a new one this year. It's the wing blade. And these are all milled in the USA. They're milled in Carlsbad, California, out of 303 stainless steel. Here's another design. You've seen this. Odyssey has, I think it's the number 7.
Right.
But it's a very everybody's doing this version, and this is just my version. But it's all, and it's you can see that it's all milled.
So whatever your alignment eye wants to see, you've got multiple options. Is essentially
right. So what we've tried to do is, I call it the low-hanging fruit of design. You got to have a blade. You got to have a kind of a mid blade. You have to have an interesting mallet. This is kind of a Ping's B60, I think it was.
Yeah.
Well, I just flared out the sides to make it more of a wing effect, and move the mass away. And then this is kind of a takeoff on my old Barbados that I had when I did Rife. This is a symmetrical design. And all of these designs, except for the last one, are symmetrical to put the shaft over here for those forgotten left-handers. Those poor people.
Yeah,
they never get a choice,
they never
right?
get the choice.
And so then we have, and then this is what we call the tour mallet. And as you can see, if you look at the shape, it's not symmetrical. It's a little bigger out here.
Okay.
It looks, when you set it down, it looks nice and balanced when you look at it from over here.
Right.
The toe doesn't get too small. And so all of these, and then this is our high MOI putter.
Okay.
Everybody's got to have their high MOI putter. So this one, it meets the USGA specifications for dimensions. So it has to be longer here than it is here. They require that. So you can't put all the weight.
That's super far back.
Well, you can't have all the weight on the swing plane like this.
Right.
So if you swing a putter with all the weight, you guys want to, if you swing a putter with all the weight on the swing plane, it doesn't move. Try that.
So if I swing it on the weight, okay, right.
See how it stays on plane?
Right.
All right. So what we've done with this concept is it's all aluminum head, super light metal, and it's hollow on the sides.
So that you
get
that.
But there's a steel weight that runs up inside.
Interesting.
So 85% of this putter's weight is
back.
right down the middle, so you get that same feel. So turn that sideways, do it again.
Right, exactly.
No, turn it this
like
way.
this, and you get that.
Like you're putting.
Right,
Okay.
Right.
And so when you putt like that,
right.
Now swing this.
Okay.
So all that mass,
goodness,
it's identical, right? So your swing path doesn't move; it stays constant.
That's a nice concept, Mr. Rife. What is it about constantly designing and evolving the game that drives you, that motivates you?
I'm kind of a maverick, I guess you would say. I'm really into technology. I'm into real improvements, I want to see the ball roll better. I want to give golfers real technology that improves their game and lowers their score. And at the end of the day, people aren't going to see the ball gear back to the middle. They're not going to know the ball went the same distance if they did a miss hit, but they're just going to make more putts. And so if they're 2 shots better, then I've helped them improve their game through simply a putter. One of a really amazing statistic that people need to realize how important putting is. The 125th ranked PGA player compared to the 25th ranked player on the PGA Tour is 1 stroke difference per round. Probably $3 million in endorsement fees and FedEx points, and I mean it's a big difference between those two people, but it's 1 stroke per round. And that, and I think everybody agrees that 1 stroke, the fastest place to get that is through putting. And everyday golfers can improve their score 2 and 3 strokes. Those guys are fine-tuned, right? So the average golfer can really improve their
or even more, potentially.
We get that all the time.
How many 3 putts do people average? If they could just take that out of their
take that out of there, right? But and there's always going to be situations where golfers are going to have bad rounds and just not do well, whether they had laser beams and everything else working for them. But it's just over time, golfers will be a little bit better. They'll cut a few strokes off their score. They'll be a little closer to the hole. The missed hits they had from those off-center hits won't happen. Ball will go in the hole when they made a putt before that it didn't go in the hole.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to accomplish. So we just want to give them a little bit more.
Well, you've done a pretty interesting, amazing job. I encourage people to learn more and try your product.
Thank
Where
you so
can
much.
you find out more about Evnroll? Evnroll.
Evnroll.
My goodness. Sorry, I have a nephew named Evan. That's where it comes from.
Got it. Well, Evnroll, it's EVN. Here we go, right here. EVNROLL.com.
.com.
Right there.
EVNROLL.com.
And you can look at it up there too. There it
It's
is,
all over the place.
So,
well, thank you for your time, sir.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Thank you
We'll be
much.
back with more Golf Life Live. Just stick around.